Hi, I'm Colin and welcome to How to Paint Watercolours. So if you're ready, we'll get started and we'll paint this one. Hello everybody, welcome back to Painting Watercolours with me, Colin. Picked this out for you today. It's going to be a winter scene. Don't we do one of these barns really in winter? And I've just leaving a thin film of water on the paper. This is £140 Bockingford watercolour extra rough paper, and the paints that I'm using, the watercolours, are Senelias. Right, there we go. And I've just put some masking fluid around the barn just to keep it clean for the moment. So this is Naples yellow. This is Naples yellow, Senelia orange, cobalt blue and crimson, alizarin crimson, French ultramarine and alizarin crimson, French ultramarine and alizarin crimson with a little bit of Payne's grey added to it. There will be some earth colours that I use, but I always have them mixed up. They're a mixture of all sorts of burnt sienna, cobalt blue, burnt umber and French ultramarine. It just saves mixing them up on the palette. Senelia orange, it's quite a bright orange this. You don't have to choose the colours that I'm using, you can choose your own. In fact, I encourage that. Make this painting your own should you wish to try it. Well, this is the sky we're going to put in. Here comes the cobalt blue and alizarin crimson. I'm going to check this for strength. I'm just going to drop little parts of that in. Too many times you will fiddle and you will destroy something that you've done just through fiddling. This is a stronger mixture. Actually no, that's a weaker mixture. I should have put that in first actually. But we can add to it just in places. Now I'm just adding something that it just shapes, just darkening or lightening, leaving light patches. It's all great fun. And then with that I'm going to take some clean water and I'm just going to drop this in. At this point water is your friend. Pick the places you want to get softer effects. This is where you can allow some real chaos to take place. Just allow that all to have a little bit of fun. Don't really touch it with the brush. You can keep your little areas clean if you wish to, which I'm going to do in the barn. Then you can roll it. Pick it up. Just allow this to flow. See how it's water pushing all that colour out of the way? Absolutely scaring you to death. I'm going to leave that to dry normally. I'm not even going to fiddle with that. Don't fiddle with it. In fact, if I catch myself fiddling, I give myself a slap round the back of the head. Let it be. I'm just going to take a little water now that has dried and I'm going to run this all the way on where the snow is. I'm leaving a little sliver of unwet paper there because I don't want it to creep up too far. And you can see, if you leave it, you get what you're given, which is what I kind of like. I'm going to take some of the French ultramarine, alizarin crimson and Payne's grey, and I'm going to run this and hopefully we'll create a little hollow here. I'm going to bring this round. I'm going to pull some of this back just to create some shape in the land, leaving some of the other colour to show through. And sunset the same here, just pull it up very gently, creating a slope. Nice and strong coming down here. Trying to leave some nice lighter patches. And you leave that to dry. Now that's all nice and dry. Well, when I say dry, the paper is still damp. You can still feel it, but the paper hasn't dried out completely. I'm using an oil brush for the trees, or you can use a goat hair mop brush. I tidied everything away. I can't use my goat hair mop brush for this because once I've tidied it away, I just can't find it. So these are the earth colours I always have mixed up that I showed you earlier. This is some yellow ochre and some burnt sienna onto the oil brush, and I'm just going to check. You see how you get patches left in between? This is what I'm looking for that, and I'm just touching the tips of the brush on. Burnt sienna. Always wipe the brush so it's relatively dry. Start to put some shadow underneath the foliage. And then I'm going to take some burnt umber and French ultramarine. This is a very dark colour. Just going to take some of the dark mixture again, French ultramarine and burnt umber, and you can put some structure into these trees, which just means trunks and branches. Once again, yellow ochre, burnt sienna. Burnt sienna. Some French ultramarine and burnt umber. As you come down in your bush, it will get darker. Want to catch the bottom with a bit of water on the brush, just pull some shadow out. Put the fir trees in. Now for this I'm just going to use a little bit of burnt umber on an old oil brush once again. See where they're going to go. This is just burnt umber, and I'm using just the tip of the brush. Now I don't mind these running together, so I'm going to take some of the French ultramarine and burnt umber. Just put some dark into this, don't want too much. A bit along the bottom once again. Shadow out. And then you're just going to leave that to dry. we're going to come to the barn, and I'm just going to wet the front of this barn and the side, and we're going to drop colour in and just allow it to mingle together. Sometimes buildings can be a little bit fiddly to paint. Take a strong mixture of the yellow ochre, and I'm just going to drop this in patches. I will be darkening this side with a glaze over it. I do want this to sort of stand out a tiny bit. Get some burnt umber, pull this together as we go. Downward strokes I'm using for this, and leave a little white patch for the roof there. Just for some fun, you could actually drop some of the orange in. It's in the sky, not too much, but it just adds a little more to it. Then I want to drop some of the, cobalt blue and the alizarin crimson, just to give it a grey look, parts of it. Then what you're going to do is you're just going to peel the bottom off, just wiggle it, so to speak, and take any hard edges off the bottom. A bit like fading your tree into the land, just making it look part of it. You can't tell where the snow line is. And I'm going to take some of the French ultramarine and burnt umber. What I want to do is just add that dark shadow you get under the eave. I am going to allow this to really spread a little bit downwards. And then I'm going to let that dry. I just put the windows in with a couple of strokes of cobalt blue and burnt sienna, and then I just darkened one side with some French ultramarine. I'm just going to drop in some colour on this roof just for a little bit of snow shadow. I'm going to take the same colour as the sky. I'm going to leave a white line at the top. I'm just going to put this in very faint. Just adds a little shadow to it. Take a little bit more. And I'm going to just add a little shadow along here in the building. I'm going to take a little water on a brush, and we're just going to fade this in. Just for a bit of shadow. You see, when you fade the bottom of your building into the ground, sort of makes it stick to it. I've also just scratched in some plank lines instead of drawing them in. Sometimes works better, and I think that does. And we might put a couple of birds in the sky. We'll leave some suggestions at the end of this video should you wish to see a couple more. But this is where you get to sign it, mount it and frame it. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please click the like button or the thumbs up button. Please consider subscribing. And please leave a comment. It all helps with YouTube's algorithm, and it helps me out a great deal. So until next time, thank you very much for watching.